This is Godfather's theme with left hand learning. A minor, in the position of A minor, if you move to chord 4, you move thumb up and you get index right next door. That's D minor, chord number 4 in A minor. And back to A minor and A minor. And again, the same thing. And then at the end of the line, you recognize it's D minor or chord 4. Second line is that same chord 4. And then it's just the top part of the chord 4. Why did I put the B diminished symbol there? It's because if you add the B, it's already in your right hand. So since your right hand has a B, you can take out the difficulty. For those who don't understand the theory of B diminished, you can just say, oh, I have a D minor, and I'm repeating the top two notes. Because usually the chord symbols on top, you have to have a little bit of theory, which we just reviewed, but I did not record. That's theory, so that's going to be on a different video. Okay, so do the D minor with that and just repeat the two tops. And then here's your chord 5-7 in A minor. It's called E7 and A minor. That's why I put the Roman numeral below. For those of you in my class, you've learned a lot of theory. You could do, oh yeah, 5-7-1. I've practiced that on the side as a technique, right? 1-4-1-5-7-1 in A minor. And then the same, but then here, I noticed that the two top notes changed down, but the bottom note is still the same. So if you're reading notes, that's what you say to yourself. The bottom note is the same, then there's a note right on top, which is side by side, which is the next note, and then a skip from there. So I've got A, B, D. And if you learn theory, then you know why we called it a B minor 7th with a flat 5. That's in another video. And I suggest fingering 4-3-1 or 1-3-4 for this A, B, D. So from this A minor before, what you need to do is put the 4 on that same A and then play 3 and 1 with it. A, B, D. From that position, for you to get to the familiar E7 is easier, and back to the familiar A minor. And so that would be the place where I practice a lot. These 4 second line bars 12, 13, 14, 15. These. And then here, A, B, D, and then the 5-7 and the 1. Next line. A minor again. G major in the root position. And then you're moving your hand up to the C position and do the 5-1 there. G7, 1, C. That's why I put the Roman numerals whenever possible, because my students have practiced a lot of 5-7, 1 in C. And same one. Now the B flat is in root position. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? And then from here to here, if you're reading notes, it's a little bit harder. But you could see that the B is still there, but it's not flat anymore. And so you're here. And then the F on top of your chord here is repeated. And on top of that F is an A. If you're interested in theory, go and watch it to find out why do we call that a B minor 7 with a flat 5, which is the symbol on top. Because from that position, for you to get to that E, you just move the same 2 fingers down. The 2 and the 1 were on F and A. You're moving those index and thumb down to the next half step. It's easier. That's why I chose this particular chord that way. And it was chosen a different way on the line previously. It's just for motion. So again, the last 4 bars of your line 3 are also to be practiced a lot, just like line 2. The last 4 bars of line 2 and the last 4 bars of line 3. C to B flat, and to this chord here, B minor 7 with a flat 5. And then move your index and thumb down. And repeat, repeat, repeat. Then, from here to here, we just take out 1. And we're still holding. So this is a tied. You do not replay these 2 notes, right? It's tied over. Next phrase is easy because it's just A minor to D minor, chord 4, back to A minor, and the same. Because it's the return of. Just like line 1. So line 4 is easy. From bar 24 forward, that line is easy. Ending on chord 4 again. If we scroll up the end, then you are starting again on the chord 4, just like line 2. But then you get to this B diminished chord. B circle means B diminished chord. And there's only 1 note that changes. It's the bottom note. Instead of A, now it's B. So I use the fingering that most likely is 4 on B. So B, D, F, this time with a 4. Whenever there's a fingering to be thinking about, the fingering is written. From that position, you can get to your familiar 5-7 of the A minor, which is E7, easily. And then you can get to your familiar A minor. So one more time, the first 4 bars of the bottom line, bar 32 is D minor, chord 4, B diminished, switching just the pinky for the ring finger, get to your familiar E7, and resolve it to the familiar A minor. So those 4 over and over again, please, until you get to this speed. A speed that's much faster than you will need, but your right hand will require a lot of your brain power. So we want these chords to be found immediately. So try to find them 4 bars at a time really fast. And then you're reviewing your theory that way. Here's the last 4 bars. That's familiar B minor 7 with a flat 5, but I chose this way to do it. And I chose this way just because the F in the chord is already in the right hand. So if you want to play the entire chord, you can. If your hand is big enough, instead of just playing the 3 notes I chose, you can play the entire chord. That's okay. Then the familiar 5-7 to A minor. If you had more technique, instead of going from the B, D, F, A, I would choose this one, E7 this way. Look at how I move my fingers, index and thumb, down half steps. And repeat the 5 and a 3. I would have, if you have a lot of technique and can play 4 fingers down at the same time, that's how I would play that E7. So B minor 7 with a flat 5, move index and thumb down half step, and you got the E7. If your hand's big enough, if you're comfortable playing all 4 fingers, go ahead and do that. But then from this position, I can't just go here. The reason being that the top note is what we call the leading tone. It needs to resolve up. That brings you to the chord to the octave, which is another technique that I wanted you all to do. So chord A minor, we just double the bottom note up there so that we always have an octave between your pinky and your thumb. This is A minor, chord to the octave. So for more advanced students, if you're deciding to play B minor 7, flat 5 with the full 4 notes, go to the E7 this way, full 4 notes, and resolve it this way with the A minor to the octave. I'm curling my fingers so you could see more what finger are on what keys. Okay? If you have the technique for it. But if not, then just use this simpler, which is not very nice. You can hear it's not very nice sounding, right? Because there are some rules that were broken. Just briefly to mention, the seventh of a chord usually resolves down stepwise to the next note. So we're feeling like there's something missing for that A to go to. But if we go here, we feel that resolution of the seventh, and then resolution from that leading tone note to the... So that's why it's hard to arrange a song for people who don't have the technique to play it when the chords are so complicated. And that's the way the composer wrote it. The chords are complicated. If you're tackling this song, you should be at a technique level to do it correctly. And that's left hand Godfathers, the simplest way I could arrange it.